This first segment focuses on introducing the really important concept of equivalence. And in order to understand what equivalence is, we also need to understand what equivalence isn't. The comparison of quantities and measures that take place throughout this segment provide lots of opportunity for children to do this. The segment starts by providing opportunities for children to compare measures visually without having to attach a number to it. So we might, for example, look at a pen and a pencil and say that the pen is longer than the pencil. Don't be tempted to rush through these initial stages. Although they might look simple, the language is actually surprisingly complicated. So words like longer, taller, higher and further are all different aspects of linear measure. Teach children as well to compare relationships and objects in two ways. So the pen is longer than the pencil, so the pencil is shorter than the pen. And this is the first step towards children understanding that if A has a relationship to B, then B also has a relationship to A. We then move on to looking at sets of objects, 4, 5, 6 objects, quantities within 10. We spend a little bit of time reviewing some of the principles of counting that children will have met in early years. For example, the order irrelevance principle, and that's simply the idea that if I have 4 objects, there's 4 objects whether I count 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever order I count in, there's still going to be 4 objects. We work towards introducing 3 symbols within this segment, 3 pieces of formal notation: greater than, less than, and equal signs. And children have lots of opportunity to practice using these in really simple contexts, comparing numbers like 6 and 4. And children need to be able to recognise those symbols and write them themselves. It's really important when you're doing this that you make sure children only use those symbols in expressions which have numbers in them. So 6 is greater than 4, but we don't want to ask children to put those symbols in between, for example, a picture of 6 balls and 4 balls. Make sure it's always within an expression with numbers in it. Through this segment, the children have focused on comparison of numbers within 10. Going into the next segment, we start to focus on numbers within 10 and breaking them down to see the patterns and relationships within individual numbers.